Good morning. How to complete 2020 Form 940 FUTA Tax Employers Annual Federal Unemployment Tax Return. We have videos to show how you can complete FUTA tax return for your business, and we have short videos, but I'm going to make a video to cover all the session very quickly in one video in case you wanted to watch that instead. But we have short videos to address each session of the form, and we will have a playlist for all the videos to be in to make it easy for access. So when you go on our playlist, you can just look for the task playlist that is related to Form 940, and you'll be able to access it and read it. So who must file Form 940? And what is Form 940, or what is FUTA? That's Federal Unemployment Tax that you are required to pay if you have employees yourself and you have a business where you are an employee. If you are a sole proprietor, you are not an employee of your business. If you are a partnership or in an L.L.C, you are not an employee. You are not collecting a salary. What you are taking out of your business is a draw. But if you have an L.L.C tax as an S corp, or you have an S corp, then you pay yourself a salary. It's not a draw you take from the business at that point. You are paying yourself a salary. So you have to pay federal unemployment tax on yourself. If you are a sole proprietor and you have employees, then you have to pay federal unemployment tax on the salary you pay them. And the unemployment, how do you calculate the FUTA tax? You calculate that on the first $7,000 that you pay to each one of your staff members or yourself if you collect salary from your business. So if you pay yourself $20,000 for the year, you pay FUTA tax on the first $7,000. And you have to track those payments in a way that you can calculate on each one of your employees how much you pay them during the year to take the first $7,000. So if you pay an employee $6,000, so you will pay FUTA tax on the whole $6,000. So we are just going to go through that very quickly. And if you want more specific information, if you want information on a specific area, the shorter videos will be helpful to address that. Let's get started. And if you need to pay Form 940, if you need to file Form 940 for a tax return, you have to first you have to figure out if you need to deposit the payment or if you need to pay with the form. And there is regulations on that as well. If your payment, your total FUTA tax is $500 or less, you can pay with the Form 940. But if your FUTA tax is more than $500, you need to deposit that. And you can deposit it via EFT, ETF. I don't know how I'm saying it right. EFT, I believe it's EFT, using EFT-PS system. That's an electronic payment system that IRS has. So you have to register to make deposits via EFT-PS. But if the payment is less than 500, it's 500 or less, you can make deposit or you can just pay with the form. If your tax is zero, or you do not pay yourself anything, or you are a sole proprietor, when you are applying for your EIN number for your business, you say you are going to have employees. So IRS say you are required to file Form 940, or you are an L.L.C, you stated that you are an employee of the business, and you are IRS, in the written letter you got for your EIN number, they say you are required to file Form 940, which is an annual form. If you are required to file 940, you need to file 940 if your tax is zero. You don't have any employee, you didn't collect any salary, you have to file 940. You just leave those amount area at zero, blank, and you don't send any payment in. If you need to file Form 940, you need to file it regardless of whether you collect salary or not. So we have a test problem we are using here. You own a company called L.L.C, and keep in mind that an L.L.C taxed as an S-Corp. At the end of 2020, you pay yourself $100 in compensation. You withheld federal tax, income tax, social security tax, and Medicare tax. What tax does L.L.C owe, and what forms to file and when to file them? That's the test problem. And in the first session, you ID your business. So you'll put your business identification number, now your social security number, your business identification number on the top. A name line, you put your name. Trade name, you put your business name. If you're a sole proprietor and your business name and your name are the same, you can leave the trade name blank, or you can just repeat it as well. Street, you put your business street, address, city, state, zip code. To the right section, you have type of return. If it's an amended return, you check A. Fees, if you purchase the business during the year, you check B. If you have no employees or you didn't make any payment to any employee in 2020, you check C. So that means you'll have 000 everywhere else. And by 0, I mean you leave a blank. And if you close the business and you stop paying wages, you check D for final. Form 940 Part 1, line A. If you have to pay state unemployment tax in one state only, enter the state abbreviation on line A. So we put IA here. 1B. So if you are an employer for multiple states, then you check 1B. And if you pay wages in a state that is subject to credit reduction, you check B2. And credit reduction is for those states that owe money, that borrow money from the government for unemployment benefits and have not paid back. So if you belong to any of those states, the instructions will have it, and believe they have USVI is the only one that is subject to the credit reduction of states. So that's that. So part 2, line 3, total payment for all employees. So by total payment is total payment. So if you have a spreadsheet that you use to track payments, by the way, we will have employer federal tax record spreadsheet on our website for you to download under the free download section, and you can track payments you make to yourself or any staff member on it, but you can add more column to calculate, like to add more, to retrieve more information or to calculate more data that as it fits your business need. So that would be the total that you pay to your employees, your staff members, and yourself. That include compensation, fringe benefits, retirement pension, all of it will go under 3. Line 4, payment exempt from FUTA tax. So you'll put what is exempt from FUTA tax here, because it is included in line 3. On line 3, you have to put that amount on line 4, and you'll check which one is exempt from FUTA tax. So fringe benefit, group term life insurance, retirement pension, daycare, other. So you'll put the amount and then you'll check the box that corresponds to that amount. Line 5, total of payment made to each employee is in excess of $7,000. Because line 3 is the total you pay to everyone in your business, here you need to calculate for each one of them any amount you pay that is more than $7,000. That excess should go on line 5. The total for all your staff members, you will go here, that is over $7,000 for each one of them. So if you have 3 people working in your business, 2 of them you pay them $6,000 each a year, and you pay one $30,000. The $6,000 plus $6,000 plus $30,000 will be on line 3. If nothing on line 4 is related to it, so that'll be blank. But then on line 5, you'll have the one you pay $30,000. 30,000 minus 7,000 will go on line 5 here. So in our case, we pay $100. So $100 is on line 3. We have line 4 blank, line 5 blank. Line 6, that'll be line 4 plus line 5. In our case, is 0, so we left it blank. Line 7, total taxable FUTA wages. So that will be line 3 minus line 6. So $100 minus 0 is $100. Line 8, FUTA tax before adjustment. It will be line 7 times 0.006. So that's if you are taking the maximum credit. So 100 times 0.006 is 60 cents. So we enter here. And remember, you can put the full amount with the cents, or you can round. But if you choose to round everything. And if you need to round something, if you need to total 2 things before you put the total here, you need to total them before you round, and then you round the total. But if you are using cents, you use cents all across. Part 3, 9 line. If all of your taxable FUTA wages you pay were excluded from your state unemployment tax, multiply line 7 by 5.4%. So line 7, $100 times 5.4% of times 0.054 is $5.40. We put it on line 9. And so you have to check with your state if you are the only one in your business and you collect if your state tax officers unemployment tax or not. And if they don't, then that's what you'll do. So on your officers' salaries, you will put your total. You'll pretty much charge that 5.4% on your taxable FUTA wage and put it here. And remember, it's on the first $7,000 for each one of people you are paying income to. If some of your taxable FUTA wages you pay were excluded from state unemployment tax or paid to any state unemployment tax late, you'll use the worksheet to figure out, and that'll go on line 10. So if you fill out line 9, chances are you won't need to fill out line 10 or 11. So if credit reduction applies to you, you fill out Schedule 8, Form 940, and that'll go on line 11. So we are now going to pay state unemployment tax, so we just go ahead. We just went ahead and charged that extra 5.4% on our taxable FUTA wages and put it on line 9. Because it is the officer's salary and is low to be taxed state unemployment tax, so we are not going to bother with that. Part 4, line 12, total FUTA tax after adjustment is going to be line 8, 9, 10, 11, and line 8 is 60 cents. That's FUTA tax before adjustments plus the extra FUTA tax 5.4%, which is $5.40, and that gives us $6.40. for line 12. Line 10 and 11 are blank. Line 13, FUTA tax deposited for the year, including any overpayment applied for a prior year. So if you pay tax last year and you told them to keep the remaining that they should refund you for the next return, you'll put on line 13. If you made deposits electronically during the year for FUTA tax, you put on line 13. So you total them all, you put on line 13. Balance due on line 14. So line 12 minus line 13. In our case, 6 minus 0 is $6. That will go on line 14. So if you take your line 12 minus line 13 and you have a negative number, meaning that your line 13 is higher than line 12, you put your amount on line 15. That's an overpayment. But if your line 12 is more than line 13 and line 12 minus line 13 gives you a positive number, you put it on line 14. That's the balance due that you owe. Now, if line 14 is 500 or less, you can pay with this form using a check or a money order. But if your line 14 is more than 500, you are required and you must make a deposit, EFT deposit using EFTPS system. So our line 14 is $6. So let's move to page 2. Page 2, you have to put your name on page 2 and your business identification number on top. Part 5, line 16. So if line 12 is 500 or less, if it is 500 or less, you do not do anything on line 16. But if line 12 is more than 500, you have to fill up this part. So you report your FUTA tax liability by quarter only if line 12 is more than 500. So report the amount, not the amount deposited, but your liability. And if you have no liability for requirer, you just leave it blank. So if line 12 is more than 500, you need to show on line 16 how much you owe on FUTA for each one of the quarter. So that means you track how much you pay per quarter to your employees, and the first 7,000 for each, like the first 7,000, if you pay less than, I don't know how to explain that, but yeah, for that quarter, you pretty much calculate the 7,000 per quarter, and from January to March, have you seen it right? So the FUTA tax that you calculate on the first 7,000, you will I think it's FUTA tax is annual tax, and for the whole year you only pay FUTA tax on the first 7,000. So it's not that if you pay 7,000 for 1 month or anything like that. So you have to track it by quarters. So if the first quarter, if your total is more than 500, then you need to show the detail, and the total will match what you have on line 12. So but the split will be on line 16, from line 16A to line 16D for each quarter. So that means the way you are recording your salaries paid out, you need to split them by quarter to calculate the FUTA tax on them. So the total tax liability for the year is line 16 A, B, C, D total together, and that will be on line 17 and must equal line 12. And what I will, let's see here, and part 6, and in case you are wondering, the rate you will use is 6%. The FUTA tax is 6%. The maximum credit is 5.4%, and if you take that full credit, the tax will be 0.6% for the federal unemployment tax. So you could use 6% to do your calculation, unless you are sure that you will get benefit from your state that will equal that 5.4%. Otherwise, you can calculate your FUTA tax using 6% during the year to or you can read the instructions to see if you could use the 0.6%, but you will need to calculate. Let's see. Okay, let's go to line 12. See if they have. Yeah, they do have an example here, but like for the quarter. So if you owe 200 for one quarter, you'll put it on line, like for the first quarter, you'll go on line 16A. If you owe 400 for another quarter, you'll go under that quarter, because it is when a quarter is less than 500, you don't need to make a deposit. You can just keep accumulating it until you reach 500. You are more than, it's more than 500, and then you make a deposit. So if it push you over by the end of the year, and you have to fill up that 16A, then you need to split it so that IRS can see that at what quarters you max out, you exceed the threshold. But when you are calculating the FUTA tax, it might just be a good idea to use 6% if you don't know the credits, the rate for your state. Assuming the rate is 5.4% is when you can take that full amount. Otherwise, if any wage is subject to FUTA tax, item subject to state tax, you may be liable for FUTA tax at a maximum rate of 6%. So, for instance, in certain states, wages paid to corporate officers, certain payment of sick pay by union, and certain fringe benefits are excluded from state employment tax. So in that case, it's just good when you are estimating your FUTA tax during the year to use 6%. So you owe FUTA tax on the first $7,000 you pay to each employee during the calendar year after subtracting any payment exempt from FUTA tax. The FUTA tax is 6%. For 2020, so most employers receive a maximum credit of up to 5.4% or 0.054 against FUTA tax. Every quarter, you must figure how much of the first 7,000 of each employee's annual wages you pay during that quarter. So you figure out by quarter. So that's what I was looking for. By quarter, you figure out how much you take the first 7,000 you pay to each employers for that quarter, and you can time it by 6%, and but if you think you'll get that credit, you can use the other. So before you can figure the amount to deposit, figure the FUTA tax liability for the quarter. To figure your tax liability, add the first 7,000 of each employee's annual wages you pay during the quarter for FUTA wages paid and multiply that amount by 0.006. So here they are assuming you are taking the credits. So the tax rates are based on your receiving, I don't think that's correct though. Based on you receiving the maximum credit against FUTA tax. You are entitled to the maximum credit if you paid all tax on employment tax by the due date of your Form 940, or if you weren't required to pay state unemployment tax during the calendar year due to your state experience rates. So if you are sure you'll get that credit, you use 0.6%, but if you are not sure, you might just use 6%. If you are trying to avoid having more than 500 on line 12 to show the detail here. So let's continue to part 6. If you don't want IRS to discuss anything with anyone in your business other than you, the owner of the business, just check no. But if you want them to discuss the matter of the form with any partner, any officer of your business, you check yes, you put the business partner's name and phone number, the employee's name, phone number, and PIN that will be used to identify the person. Part 7, who must sign Form 940? If you are, so pretty much what you'll do is you'll complete the form or fill out Form 940 on your computer all the way. You print out your name, you print out the title, your business phone number, and when you print it out, you will sign it and date it. But who is supposed to sign Form 940 for your business? If you are a sole proprietor, that's you, the business owner. If you are an L.L.C. or a partnership, any partner that is authorized, any member that is authorized, that can be trusted with business matters, could sign and date. And that's the person that is signing that will put the name here and title and phone number. If you are an L.L.C. taxed as a corporation or treated as a corporation or an S corp, then that's the president or the vice president or any principal officer of the business to sign name, title, and phone number and date. If that's a single member L.L.C. that is for tax purposes, it is a disregarded entity, then that's you, the owner of the business or an officer of the business. And pay preparer use only. If you are paid to file Form 940 and you are not an employee of the business, you'll put your preparer's name here on the line of preparer's name. You will put from your business, your tax preparation's business name, your business address, city, state, zip code. You'll put your P10. If you are self-employed, you check the box of self-employed. Otherwise, you leave a blank. You'll put your P10, and remember, you have to renew your P10 with the IRS before you file tax and get paid for. And you will put your business EIN number, your phone number, and when you print the Form 940 out, you'll sign and you'll date. And you'll make a copy for your client, and in addition to the copy that will be mailed to IRS. And if you are the business owner filing the form, when you are filing this form for your business, You make sure when you print it out, you sign it, you date it, you make a copy for your business in addition to the one you'll mail to IRS. And if you are filing, like in our case, I'm an employee of our business and I'm filing this form for our business, and I'm a tax professional, but I'm not going to put my tax preparer credential here. I'm not going to fill out anything here. I'm not going to put my P10 here because I'm an employee of the business. So how to complete Form 940V, payment voucher for Form 940. So if you are not required to make a deposit, you have a balance due that you owe for FUTA tax, and you prefer to pay with the Form 940, on your computer, when you are completing the form, you come down to page 3, Form 940V. Line 1, you enter your business identification number. Line 2, you enter the balance, and it should be on line 14 of Form 940. The balance due on line 14, you'll put it on the voucher line, on the voucher Form 940V, line 2, with the cents, if you are using the cents as well. On line 3, you put, so in our case, it's $6 on line 14. So we put $6 on line 14, Form 940. We put it as well on line 2 for Form 940V because we are going to pay with the Form 940. On line 3 of Form 940V, you put your business name. In our case, our test problem is L.L.C. And then you put your business address number as well. And in our test problem, we are using series streets for the street name, city for the city name, and Iowa for the state, and 55555 for the zip code. So you put your business street name, city, state, and zip code. All of that will go on line 3. And you are done filing Form 940 and Form 940V for 2020 FUTA tax return. So when you are done filling it out, you print it out. And after you print it out, you sign the Form 940. You date it. You staple it, Form 940, and you cut Form 940V off of page 3, and you add it to the Form 940. You do not staple the voucher to the Form 940. You can staple the Form 940 all by itself because it's more than one page, and then you put the Form 940V on top of it without stapling it, and you fill up the check. And the check or a money order, you put payable where they have payable to, you put United States Treasury. And then on the check or on the money order, you put your business identification number. That will tie the check to your business. And the type of form the check is for, you'll put the Form 940, and the year you are paying for, you'll put 2020. So you need United States Treasury, your EIN number, Form 940 2020 on your check or money order, so that you can tie all of those to your business to specify what you are trying to pay. Do not staple the check to the voucher. Do not staple the check to the form. Do not staple the voucher to the check. Do not staple the voucher to the Form 940. Keep those 3 things separate, and don't send cash in. So once you have your check, the voucher, the form ready, sign, everything is signed, and remember to sign your check. Put it in the envelope. And where do you mail your Form 940 with payment. Where do I file Form 940 with a payment? You'll find the address on page 4 of 2020 instructions to Form 940, FUTA tax return. In the first column, locate your state. In our case, it is Iowa, so that'll be the second row. And we are adding payment to the form, so we look in column 3 to the address that is in the same row as our state, and that's Internal Revenue Service, P.O. Box 932,000, Louisville, Kentucky 40,293-2000. If you don't have any payment to send in, your line 14 is 0 or is blank because you have made your deposit or you don't owe any tax or you overpaid, they owe you a refund. That means you are filing Form 940 without a payment. You do not complete Form 940 voucher, Form 940V. You just leave a blank. You may not even add that page to the Form 940. You can just print out Form 940 page 1 and 2 up to where you sign and leave the voucher section out of it. So you file your Form 940 without a payment. You do not complete Form 940V and you do not add any check to your Form 940. You send your Form 940 to the address in the column that says without a payment. When you did not pay any salary and you do not owe any FUTA tax, or you make deposit during the year and you do not owe any payment, any tax, or you are going to make a deposit, you made a deposit, you are not going to add payment to your Form 940, you use without a payment address. So that will be the second column address. From the second column, that will match that will be in the same on the same row as your state. And we take the example of Iowa, which is on the second row. Without a payment address is Department of Treasury, Internal Revenue Service, Ogden, Utah 94,201-0046. And that's what you'll put on the address and you'll send it, you'll mail it. And remember, if you are paying your FUTA tax with your Form 940, you need to mail your Form 940 by February 1st, 2021. Usually it's January 31st, but for 2020, the deadline is February 1st, 2021. But if you made deposits before you file your Form 940 and you are filing 940 without a payment, you can file it by February 10, 2021. But I just like to keep the earliest deadline in mind so that I can file on time. And when you are looking for the address, you find it. I like to have the address on an envelope ready so that once I locate the address, I know that I have, I'll put it on the envelope and then I'll file it, or I'll put it in a mail holder so that I know that it's ready, waiting for me to put the form in it once everything is signed and ready. And that way I don't have to go look for the addresses again. But remember to have a post-it note or a paper clip to the envelope so that you put the right form in the right envelope. And that's pretty much it. When you are done finding the address, put it in the envelope, and you print out everything, just make sure you sign it and you make copies. And make copies of the check as well. It's good to make copies of the check you are sending in, to make copies of the voucher, to make copies of the form 940, and clip them all together and keep in your record for your business, and send the original to the IRS and right on time. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for watching our videos, and thank you for reading our blogs. Thank you for all your comments, and thank you all that subscribe. I'm Afiavi Ojune, Liberman, creators of Liberman Consulting L.L.C. YouTube channel, owners of Nina's Soap. Our blog, Liberman Consulting L.L.C. podcast, and we do have our natural product store, ninassoap.com, custom apparel store, liberlabel.com, retail store, liberoutlets.com, and digital product store, liberdownload.com. You can file Form 940 for your business yourself. You can e-file it, or you can just pull out the form, complete it, print it out, sign it, and send it in. We'll have the link under free download on our website for easy retrieval. When you click on the link, it'll take you to IRS website, and you'll be able to access it. You don't need to subscribe or log in to our blog website to access our free download session. It's free. Thank you for your time.